When you pay $10 a month for a streaming subscription, it's easy to assume money goes directly to the artists you listen to. The reality is that the digital streaming economy does not work on a flat per-stream rate. There is no fixed price tag attached to a single play of a song. Instead, the system relies on a closed revenue pool. Every user's subscription fee from around the world is swept into one massive, centralized pile of money. Calculating how much an artist gets paid at the end of the month is simply a matter of dividing up this finite pool of capital. Believing in a fixed per-stream rate obscures the actual architecture of the system. This structural design is the exact reason independent artists struggle to survive on digital platforms. There are three main structural mechanisms used to dictate how this revenue pool is divided: MCPS, UCPS, and minimum payout thresholds. The dominant distribution framework operating right now is the Market-Centric Payment System, or MCPS. We need to deconstruct how MCPS mathematically functions, and specifically how its baseline formula favors top-tier artists. From there, we will evaluate the industry's proposed alternative, the user-centric payment system, and examine the new threat of minimum stream thresholds being rolled out by major platforms. Because the revenue pool is closed and strictly capped, any change to the payout formula is a zero-sum game. If one artist gains financial ground, the math dictates that another artist must lose it. This diagram illustrates the market-centric payment system, treating the platform as a single aggregation of all streams. An artist's share is their track's total streams, divided by platform-wide streams, then multiplied by total distributable revenue to equal their final monthly payout. The structural flaw built into this equation is that it ties a user's financial weight directly to their streaming volume. Look at the distribution data. Users who stream over 100 artists a month make up just 40% of the total subscriber base. Yet because of their high activity, they generate nearly 70% of the royalty payouts. Casual fans who might only listen to a few hours of music a month still pay the exact same $10 subscription fee into the closed pool as those heavy users. The math of the MCPS formula takes the surplus money generated by those casual listeners and reallocates it to pay the artists played by the heavy listeners. This creates a structural subsidy. People who listen to music lightly are functionally funding the listening habits of intense users. This dynamic is easily exploited. Click-farm bots are deployed to artificially inflate stream counts for specific tracks, capturing a larger percentage of the unified pool. The market-centric payment system operates as an automatic wealth concentration engine, continually funneling the broader user base's money toward the platform's highest volume artists. To correct this distortion, parts of the industry have proposed an alternative model, the user-centric payment system, or UCPS. This diagram demonstrates the UCPS structure. Instead of a single pie chart, the pool breaks into individual user-level charts. A user's track streams are divided by their total streams, then multiplied by their specific subscription fee, completely removing the cross-subsidy. To test the viability of this model, the Centre National de la Musique partnered with Deloitte to conduct a detailed impact study on switching to UCPS. The report confirms that UCPS succeeds in its primary goal. It aligns royalty distribution directly with actual individual listening habits. The relative percentage shifts are notable. Artists at the bottom end of the streaming scale could see their revenue increase by 30%, while top-tier artists would see their payouts drop by around 10%.
But there is a crucial caveat hidden in the CNM data regarding the absolute value of these percentages. For artists ranking outside the top 10,000, that 30% relative increase translates to an absolute monetary gain of a few euros per year. UCPS fixes the ethical geometry of how revenue is distributed, but it fails to meaningfully expand the raw income available to the music middle class. Structural fairness in a closed pool does not equal financial sustainability, which brings us to a newer, far more aggressive platform policy manipulating the revenue pool, the minimum payout threshold. Major platforms have implemented a strict cutoff rule. If a track receives fewer than 1,000 streams within a 12-month period, it earns 0 royalties. Streaming services justify this threshold publicly as a necessary administrative measure required to combat systemic bot fraud and clear out audio noise. But there is a critical catch to this policy. These demonetized tracks are not removed from the platform. They remain fully playable to any user. This creates what can be called the shadow catalog,
a massive library of music that generates zero payouts for its creators, yet continues to function perfectly within the system. When users listen to these unpaid tracks, the platform still collects their engagement data, successfully feeding the algorithm and retaining valuable user attention. This retained attention translates directly to platform ad revenue, particularly from listeners on the highly populated free tiers. By cutting out these tracks, the zero-sum math of the closed revenue pool activates once again. By excising the bottom tail of artists from the payment structure, the pool's remaining capital is artificially concentrated among the tracks that clear the threshold. The 1,000-stream threshold acts as a mechanism of upward capital redistribution. It subsidizes top performers and major rights holders by relying on the unpaid labor of independent artists. When we place these three economic frameworks side by side, we can observe exactly how capital flows under different rule sets. The market-centric payment system is an engine where wealth inherently flows to high-volume artists, carried upward by the habits of heavy users. The user-centric payment system attempts to flow wealth laterally, creating a strict matching between user preference and artist payout, despite its limited monetary impact. And the threshold model represents a forced truncation of the bottom tier, legally structured to push wealth upward. Because digital streaming relies on a closed revenue pool, every single policy choice implemented by a platform is inherently zero-sum. When major platforms utilize conscious parallelism to enact these thresholds simultaneously, they centralize the pool to benefit dominant players without having to trigger most favored nation clauses in their contracts. We have to dismantle the persistent illusion that an artist's individual stream possesses an intrinsic or fixed market value. The financial value of a stream is a highly malleable variable, determined entirely by the architectural rules of the platform holding the capital. These rules are actively chosen and updated by tech companies. They are not dictated by natural economic laws. As recommendation algorithms grow more advanced, the financial pressure for platforms to extract free value and engagement from the shadow catalog will only increase. Until creators and policymakers understand the precise math governing these closed revenue pools, independent artists will continue to lose a financial game whose rules they do not even know they are playing.